Well, for those that have followed the channel and the pop-up camper to hard side conversion series that I've done for the last 14 months, 15 months, will find this view of the garage very different because it's permanently set up or semi-permanently set up at a seasonal site. And I've got a garage to put back together with a lot of scraps and dust and leftover parts. But something I've been thinking about as the weather gets warmer is the air conditioning solution for the little camper. I played around with some window units in some of the past videos where I had it sticking out the side, where I had it built into the actual camper itself, and those were certainly options. But I don't use AC a whole lot, and 40 pounds, 50 pounds inside, as well as dealing with a lot of condensation, or at least water blowing out the back, drip tubes, and a lot of that stuff seemed a little bit overkill when I just wanted to cool things down a little bit. So this one caught my eye, and I haven't seen any other reviews of this Emerson Quiet Kool on YouTube, so I thought we would give it a try. The Zero Breeze units have some good results, but they're 2 to 3 times the cost that this one is. This one's about 500 bucks, and it was worth a try. The reviews are horrible on this. If you go to Amazon, if you go to Lowe's, the reviews are not good. I don't know if it's because people are trying to do too much, if they're expecting too much from them. I don't know. As far as the camper goes that I built, it's pretty tiny. We're somewhere around 55 to 60 square feet, so I don't need a lot of cooling. And per the information of this one, it's supposed to cool an area from about 50 to 85 square feet. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. This first video, and I think I'll have 2 or 3 of these, is going to be unboxing this and connecting it up and seeing what kind of temperatures we get out of it. Because the camper is up the road a little bit, I'm not going to get up there right now, or not in the next couple days. And I wanted to share what we had going on here with this and see how this unboxing goes. So let's get going on this, open it up, and see what it looks like. All right, let's see what's in this thing. Okay, a manual. We got a drip tube. I was wondering how they have that set up. It runs on 24 volts, so I guess that's straight to your DC 24 volts if you've got access to it. Regular plug and our 24 volt power supply. So 24 volts, 3.9 amps max. That is super, super light. That's really, really light. information on the bottom, EAP01, 1000 BTU, same data that was on the side of the box. Suction pressure, discharge side pressure. And this one has a USB plug, has a built-in light, and a Bluetooth speaker, so they say as well, although I don't know how great that'll be. And I guess we've got our discharge, our water line discharge port. And there's no battery, of course, in here, which is a difference from the Zero Breeze. I believe some of those come with the battery, or it's an option. And this does not have a remote either. So all of our controls are on the top. And first impressions, taking it out of the box, I don't see any cracks or splits or any abused marks. I saw one or two reviews where someone said that the unit they got, they thought was used, but this appears to be freshly packaged. I don't see any crinkled stuff that would indicate that it was a return or anything like that. We've got some nice rubber feet here. They seem pretty soft. It's not hard rubber. That's pretty pliable. And for that exhaust tube, I don't know if that screws in or just pops in. We'll check that out in a minute. And we've got access to our compressor parts. And of course, this is a true compressor unit. This is not just a swamp cooler or any kind of unit that is going to put more humidity in the air. Those snap in well. I've also seen some reviews on the Zero Breeze units that some of these clips on that one are cracked or don't sit real well. This seems pretty tight. Our one little USB port. And our controls here. So we've got our light for the front, our Bluetooth speaker, which is built in. I'm kind of curious to see how bad that sounds. That might be our speaker right there. It can be used just as a fan. And I believe there is also a setting for if it dips below a certain degree, it'll come on or it'll turn off. It'll cycle to some extent. So I'm going to read the instructions real quick, see what we got going on there, and then we're going to plug this in and see what kind of temperatures we get out of the front and what it sounds like. So let's get going with that. Pretty straightforward. Always like the identification of my parts. It's a good thing to keep in mind. But the manual actually is pretty good. I don't see a whole lot of spelling errors or a whole lot of confusing statements. It's very straightforward. This panel that I took off the front here is actually a filter, so that can come off for easy cleaning. I've seen other folks with the Zero Breeze units that have had really good success with sort of making a barrier near the front so that you can really separate the hot and the cold. And that's something also we can keep in mind and test around and see if we need to do something like that. And again, this is kind of just to take a little bit of the heat off. I don't expect it to really cool things down dramatically in the little camper, but my goal for this is to use it in that little hardside camper that we built over the last year and change. The hose here does screw on, so it doesn't just snap in. It does have some automatic shutoffs if the temperature is below a certain degree. And pretty straightforward. Nothing too unusual there. For the vent hose, this just goes on and then screws counterclockwise. That makes a really nice tight seal. For the drain line, there's just a little plug that sits in there, and this is just a little rubber plug, and this goes around there nice and tight. Today it's not especially hot, it's not overly humid, it's about 75 degrees, and I don't know what the humidity level is, but it's not too bad right now. So let's get some actual temperatures now of what we've got for the front, and then we'll plug it in and see what we have. Okay, so we're about 79 degrees or so. So that's our base. Looking over the wires and the parts here, I've seen a whole lot worse before in appliances that are of questionable origin. But the parts here, there's nothing that's jumping out at me as far as mishandling, cracks, splits, pinched wires, pinched hoses, marks. I'm just not seeing anything like that yet, and I'm actually surprised. I was expecting to see manufacturing errors or parts that didn't fit well. So it's a good sign so far. The side that we opened up before is the side with the filter. And on the other side, we've got another door that opens up, which is another filter. So we can keep both sides pulling in air that's not too gritty. And I'm not going to open this up as far as, I'm not going to take it apart right now, but just peering in at the lines and the copper hoses and the fittings, I'm not seeing a lot of bad work. I don't see frayed wires. I don't see any kind of janky connections. It's hard to see looking here with the camera, but peering through, not bad so far. All right, we're gonna do this together. I just plugged it in and I heard a beep and the little red light came on next to the power button. So let's see what we got. So we're on cool mode. Fan is on. That's how we open up those. It's a pretty good breeze. All right, so we'll give this 5 minutes, 10 minutes and see where we are. Now this has been on for 3 minutes. I set the marker right when I turned it on, so just 3 or 4 minutes. We've got hot air coming out the back. That's pretty warm. We've got cool air coming out the front. And so it was 79 degrees before. And we're at 66 right now. And that's after 3 or 4 minutes, about 4 minutes. Let's see if we can get a temperature on the plastic coming out, or the air coming out. So we're about 90. So while this thing is just percolating along, the light's pretty bright. So there's 2 levels, I think. At night, that would be extremely bright. And I heard the compressor kick on, and we're down 62. So we're getting down into 60 range, upper 50s. And that air coming out is definitely feeling cooler. And as far as the delta or the change over ambient temperature, as mentioned before, it's about 75 degrees right now. It's a beautiful day. So we're dropping down about 15 degrees right now. And the book said it was about a 15 to 20 degree drop that it could do. So it's been on for about 15 minutes or so, and it seems to be finding its rhythm. And that breeze is nice. It's not ice cold, but we're in the upper 50s. Let's see what the temperature coming out the back is. Somewhere around 100 degrees, a little more. Something I noticed with the fan speed, when you first turn on the air conditioner, the fan had a red light next to it, which I believe is high. And we were getting some nice cool temperatures with the high, but if you push the fan button again, then we go to blue, which would indicate a cooler temperature. And the fan speed slows down a little bit and the temperature gets really cold. And I'm getting temperatures now. I was getting some around 56, 57 degrees, which is almost 20 degrees cooler than ambient right now, which is pretty impressive. These switches here, this is not fan speed, this is for that Bluetooth speaker. So by pushing this, you go from high to low. So again, a little bit less breeze coming out, but it's a cooler breeze. Noise level is very quiet, and as you would expect with an air conditioner, there are parts that are warmer, so it's warmer here. It's not hot, but it's warmer in the back. And I think if a baffle was made, oh, that's nice and cool. If a baffle was made somewhere in this zone, and this part was separated from the front with a little bit of insulation, I think it would work quite well. I'm more surprised and more impressed than I initially thought I'd be. And this was purchased on Amazon, so if it does not hold up or if there's any issues, it can certainly go back. But at the moment, we're doing better than I thought. I've not checked the Bluetooth speaker. That was not of any great importance to me. There's the speaker right there. So chances are a phone speaker will be probably better. But for small spaces, for the purpose that I've got in mind with that little camper, I think it'll be fine. And if somebody was trying to set it up in a tent and they separated the back, or at least they had that hose going out, I think it would work pretty well. You would need a power supply, obviously, either plug into shore power or have some sort of jackery or something that could give you 24 volts DC. And I don't know how long that would last with that on. I haven't run the numbers for the amperage draw. But for what it is, portability, ease of use, I think it's got a little niche. So this is the first video, just the unboxing, just setting it up, and then another 1 or 2 videos when I actually build a shelf and build it into the camper that I've built over the last 14, 15 months. That'll be the next section. So there we go. Thanks very much for taking a look, and hope it helps out some other folks.